when he says her name, the transformation occurs in that powerful moment.
It does.
I would give almost anything. I mean, I hope I can ask my Lord face to face one day, or ask Mary the tone of his voice when he said that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things you could read that. Would he say Mary? Probably not.
Yeah.
Would he say it in a tender way that he used to address her? Whatever the reason, the tone of voice is what transformed her. But it's of no small consequence that it's her name, that the Lord speaks her name, because there's a lordship and dominion aspect to that, as well as just a great personal tenderness and relationship in speaking somebody's name to them, someone that you're intimate with.
Yes.
That it's tremendous. And then that's the moment of transformation. It's not sight, although that also is significant in the Bible, but the naming, the Lord's naming. And you think also of Peter, right? When he says to the Lord, remember me, when you go into your glory. And the Lord, is not yet ascended, but now he has been raised from the dead. Has he forgotten his people? No, but he's still the shepherd of the sheep, and the sheep know his voice, and he knows them by name.
Yes. Now that right there, Camden, that is the deepest covenant theology in the Gospel of John. And what I mean by that is this, that when Voss in the Hebrews, the epistle to the Diatheke on page 186, when he's talking about the essence of the covenant, he says this. He says, to be a Christian is to live one's life not merely in obedience to God, nor merely in dependence on God, nor even merely for the sake of God. Listen, it is to stand in conscious reciprocal fellowship with God, to be identified with him in thought and purpose and work, to receive from him and give back to him in the ceaseless interplay of spiritual forces. And so when Jesus calls Mary by name, let me try to say it this way. It is the beginning of the consummation of the covenant relation for her. She is being called personally and tenderly and sovereignly into religious devotion to Jesus, where he receives her worship, she gives her worship, and there is mutual and reciprocal bliss in that relationship. And speaking to her by name shows you the depth of the person-to-person fellowship bond that lies at the core of the covenant. And what does that covenantal fellowship bond between God and man reflect? That intimate, eternal, and incommunicable person-to-person dwelling in one another among the persons of the Trinity. The perichoretic glory of the persons who are fully God is what underlies that. And so in this, Jesus is giving her the deepest religious reality of the covenant, because he gives himself to her, and she knows him as he knows her by name. It's just it's just beautiful. It's the heart of our religion, really.